Hey guys, it's me Dave from the Kodo, and today I'm in the creative world going to show you a little bit about power modular suits. Now in the world of Feed the Beast, there are many different ways to get different power suits, but this one I found to be the cheapest and just as good as most of the other ones. So I'm going to go through that real quick. First off, we've got the main components, and you can see I have the claw in my hand, or the hand, but the head, the chest, the legs, the boots, and then he doesn't like the frame, but the claw, which I've got in my hand right now. These are all made up out of a couple of basic components. The main one being wiring, the other one being iron ingot. There's a couple of different recipes for the wiring. The easiest one is gold nugget and redstone to give you 8, or if you have a excess of silver and uninsulated copper wiring, you can get 2 apiece. So, but I use the redstone and gold nugget. You get 8 of them. Now you're gonna need a ton of these. These are the most important part of the power modular suits, as well as the upgrades, which we'll see in the tinker table. First off, we'll run through the components. The headpiece is created in this fashion. See again, wiring, body piece, legs, feet or boots, and then the claw. All they're made out of is iron ingots and wiring, so make a ton of the wiring. Once you have made all of those, let me switch out of creative mode and get rid of these. Okay. I will put these on. And as you can see, looks pretty freaking awesome. Let's get an F5 of that. Awesome suit. So now you'll see I don't have any armor, and I really don't have any special abilities. If I try and break dirt, it's the same speed. This is where the tinker table comes into play. Let's look at that recipe real quick. Expensive version, don't even bother with it. Cheap version, iron ingots, lapis, and 1 emerald, tinker table. It doesn't need to be powered, it just needs to be placed. When you right click on the tinker table, you'll go into make sure I'm in creative mode. You'll go into a UI for the tinker table. Depending on what power suit modules you have on, it'll show up in this left-hand column. If you don't have one on or even in your inventory, it won't show up here. Clicking on them will give you the options. Now, all of the pieces have multiple options. Special or ability specific to that. For instance, the headpiece, night vision, flight control, or Emitter. These will be specific. There'll be specific ones to each power suit module piece. Now, the main component you're looking at for each of these is armor and energy. How you attach these is by using different capacitors or different pieces here, like the force field emitter. These are also very cheap to make. Not necessarily the force field emitter, but let's look at those real quick. All of the add-ons will revolve around making something of this sort. Now you can see solenoid and some ender pearls. If you go into the solenoid, main component wiring and iron ingots. That's how they're all going to work. So for instance, for the headpiece, putting on an R emitter, you need to obviously have the goggles of revealing from that, but a hologram emitter. The main thing you're looking at, again, is energy. So you want to have a big battery. So put in an HP capacitor. Let me switch into creative mode. That is on. So for instance, for the back piece, we're going to look at, okay, for armor, I'm going to install. All you have to do is have the force field emitters in your inventory, and it'll install them. And if you salvage, you'll get those 2 pieces back. Now, when you do the battery or the armor or any of the battery pieces, they'll have this strength meter. So armor, jack it up. This is how much it's going to use up per hit, and then how much energy of points you're going to get when that's on. For the battery, I always go with the Elite battery because the HP capacitors are pretty cheap to make. When it comes to the battery, the bigger the size, the heavier it is. So what I like to do is I like to leave all of them at minimum except for the boots. And when it comes to the boots, I jack them all the way up. So you can see my energy's up here. Don't worry about this. This is not something that's going to be hard to deal with. But for the boots, like I said, battery all the way up. The rest of them, just leave them at the minimum and you'll be fine. We'll turn the armor all the way up on all these as well. That does not add any weight. So now for the back piece, you've got like jetpack. We're going to install a jetpack. The ion thruster is the hardest to make. It uses the most pieces. Now, cosmetic. This is if you want to change the way it looks around a little bit. I'm going to install these real quick so you can see the difference here, and then there's a custom color module. So now daytime, if you look at my guy, a little bit different than it was before. So you can change the look of it, and that's how those are going to work. All the pieces need some sort of battery with them to help with the powering. Obviously you want to put some armor on there as well, and then some of the special things that come with it. For instance, the helmet has water electrolyzer. When you run out of air, it'll give you back some more air. Auto feeder as well. If you have food in your inventory, it takes it out of your inventory and feeds you. It'll store massive amounts of food, so you never have to feed yourself. When we come down to the power tool, this has the ability to have some extra stuff on it. Plasma cannon, melee assist, and gives you a little bit harder of a punch. And then it also has, it's like a multi-tool. It has the axe, the pickaxe, the shovel, and a multimeter. You can add all of these things very, very cheaply. So you just solenoid, 3 iron ingots. This one consists of some wiring, which is still some iron ingots or redstone and gold nuggets. So, like I said, very, very cheap to go through and add these things in. So it's kind of overpowered the way it works. But they're very, very cheap. As you can see, the recipes for these are extremely cheap. You just need a ton of redstone and basically a ton of iron ingots, and then ender eyes as well. But that is the basics of getting the power modular suit going. This is an extremely powerful item in the game. You can make it to the point where you're basically invincible. No fall damage, no suffocation damage when you're underwater. You can fly, you can run fast, all the sorts. A little bit of a higher jump there, you can see there. So there's a lot you can do. There's a sprint assist, and it's all done right here on the Tinker table. Like I said, once you get in here, pick what you want, adjust the level that you want. I mean, you can try and go for the bigger battery, but I do know, like you can see right here, the weight goes up. So it makes you a little bit slower because you got a bigger battery on you. Mess around with it, change it to the way you want it, put the things in you need. But very, very cheap, very powerful tool. But that is just going to be a basics of the power module suit. Thank you for tuning in. Give this video a like, subscribe if you're not, and if you found this interesting. I am Dave from the Kodo. Like always, good luck and have fun.